Alright, so today we are returning to Steven Revisi-Verse. We're doing technically 2 episodes today, but it's really just one. Like, it's Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem. They're really one episode. Let's not get ourselves. If you hear more dog noises in the background than usual, that's because I got my sister's dogs over right now while I'm recording this. In fact, the next several videos, you might hear extra dogs in the background, but it's fine. You guys are cool. Anyway, Mirror Gem, Ocean Gem. I don't know how much I'm going to have to say about these, frankly. Because, like, what is there still to be said about these episodes, man? They're some of the biggest, most talked about episodes in the entire show. I am also currently pulling up. I've already got my review up. I'm currently pulling up the episode too. Where is it? Why can I never remember where it is? There it is. Okay, cool. Right, there, that's ready. I do have those both. Hold on. Do I have those both? No, I don't even have them both in the same video file. God dang it. Man, that's annoying. Alright, hold on. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing these both at the same time, obviously, because my review of them is done at the same time. It's one of my longest ones up to that point, I think. Yeah, definitely. It's like 15 minutes long. Indirect Kiss came close. And then it's like my longest one for quite a while. Jeez. These are really short. They probably shouldn't be as short as they are. I'm getting distracted though. Anyway, we're going to watch the review first. Obviously, that's what we do. And I don't know if I see anything in here worth talking about, I'll talk about it. I don't know.
Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem. Yes, I will be doing both of these at the same time. This is how I will handle any true two-parters that the show actually has. There have been times up until this point
I don't know if that stayed true or not.
Itself very seriously. This is when it kind of goes all in and shows just how serious it can be. As per usual, there will be spoilers in this review, so keep that in mind if you haven't seen these episodes and you still
I like that shirt.
This is one of the big ones. Pretty much like any other episode of the show.
Do I still have that shirt? It
rolls you into a full sense of security that way. Steven now wants to experience this. He wants to experience going to school and then getting off for summer vacation.
I guess there is a comic where he goes to school. I'm getting around to reviewing that relatively soon, too.
This is a scene where I swear it proves that Pearl has telekinetic powers, limited telekinetic powers, because she literally calls it out of her gemstone and then floats it in the air for several seconds. And of course, Steven thinks nothing of this. His life is weird enough that a talking mirror is not that far outside the realm of possibility as far as...
And I like that. I like that this is a really good example of Steven being really at home and with weirdness, but also... I don't think it gets talked about enough, but the way that he and Lapis are able to start communicating with each other simply through the reflections in the mirror, I think that's really cool, and it was handled super well. It's the kind of thing that this show, I don't think it ever really did anything quite that interesting with the introduction of a new gem after this. It's a real highlight, is my point.
Related stuff, and she's made a symmetrical pile out of it. And Amethyst is now tormenting her by adding more to the pile. First of all, as soon as Steven mentions that the mirror has been talking to him, the other gems flip out. Pearl seems scared, Garnet seems really angry, and Amethyst looks like she doesn't quite know what to think.
And I still wish we had gotten more elaboration on this. I'm going to talk about this more in the episode portion. But why would they react this strongly to it talking to him? Like, did they know that? Because we've seen multiple times gemstones being used for things like powering computers and ships, but they're clearly not meant to be living gems. Did they know that the gem powering this mirror was a living gem? Or did they just realize it in that moment? Let's do a little headcanoning here, actually. Let's talk about it now, I guess. Because my brain's going now. Let's do a little headcanoning here. We know that Lapis, we know now anyway, that Lapis was put in the mirror by Homeworld to force her to answer their questions so they can interrogate her because they thought she was a crystal gem. So maybe the crystal gems here had heard of that being a thing. And the moment that Amethyst would have heard it, I guess she would have had to heard about it from the others, because she wouldn't have been there. They heard about that happening during the war, and so when the moment they heard Stephen talking about how, oh, the mirror can communicate, they're like, oh shit, that's a gem from the war. My head goes from there, though, to, wouldn't they assume then that it's a crystal gem? If it was crystal gems that were put in these devices to interrogate them? But then Pearl it might have just assumed that she would recognize any crystal gem that was stuck in the mirror. Which means this has to be a homeworld gem that was put there either by mistake or for some other form of punishment. And that explains why they would have freaked out like this. If they all made that snap deduction, then having a homeworld gem on Earth is dangerous enough as it is. But then this is someone who might be able to get word back to homeworld that there are still crystal gems on Earth. This is someone who might tell Stephen about aspects of their history that they don't want him to know. There, I think we explained it fairly well. Finally, which, I'm glad we revisited this episode specifically for this scene, which I'd actually, not thought about for a long time. Straight up, I could almost call the video there. That's almost enough Revisi-Versing. But, obviously we're going to keep going. I'm just kidding.
And we now know from the episode the answer from their most recent Stephen bomb, that's because Lapis Lazuli, the gem in the mirror, actually recognizes Garnet at this point as the fusion that appeared in the Court of Blue Diamond.
That's a good point. That's true. Also, just straight up, Lapis, considering how I'm sure propagandized she was against the crystal gems anyway, and then being put in the mirror because of them, knowing that these were crystal gems, she was just going to be super afraid of any crystal gem trying to get their hands on her. Probably worried that they were going to shatter her or something. Also, she's not entirely in her right mind, right? She's damaged. Which, we now know that, mental stress can cause corruption because it happened to Stephen. And damage to the gemstone is damage to the brain, which is mental stress. So I still think that my old theory that damage to the gemstone can lead to corruption outside of the corruption wave is, that's a thing that could happen.
Of Stephen removing the gemstone from the back of the mirror, so that's what he does.
Yeah.
You can see this water pattern appears in the ground beneath his feet.
It's very
As
cool.
he's doing so, pop, the gem comes out, it floats up into the air, and it regenerates into Lapis Lazuli.
Such a cool scene. It's just such a neat scene, her reveal. Lapis, though, honey, you could have, talked to them. You could have, communicated with them and let them know you were in there.
Greg runs in and informs them that something's happening on the beach. They go outside, and the entire ocean is gone. Not just here, but the entire ocean everywhere. The economy of this town is based on the fact that it's beach. This is when we get a pullback of the entire beach without any water. And this is when we get the really good look at the sword that I mentioned back in my Bubble Buddies review, laying out in the dry ocean bed. I'll put an image of it right up here so you can see what I'm talking about. And I will include my Tumblr post talking about the sword in the description down below if you want to read that as well.
Ooh.
Anyway, it's a
Tumblr post about the sword. Cool. Is this the one? Yeah, the one where I draw a shitty diagram of what their weapon parts would have made. And that was pretty freaking accurate, yeah. That's about what it was. The blade was made of the magma instead of the spear tip, but I think that's still pretty accurate. It's pretty fun.
But anyway, they eventually arrive at this giant pillar of water. It looks like Lapis Lazuli has literally compiled all of the water and all of the Earth's oceans into a giant pillar up into the sky trying to reach the gem homeworld.
Which is insane.
Which we now know from the most recent episode is in another galaxy.
Yeah.
How she ever expected that to work, I have no idea. Anyway, Steven, duplicates of Steven and the crystal gems.
Which is a cool scene. I'm really looking forward to watching that scene.
Some people have suggested that this might be
properly
a
again
of her powers that she had in the mirror. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just say I'm really interested to see Lapis fight again at a later date so we can kind of put to rest whether or not that's true.
And we do see her fight again later, and she doesn't use this reflection ability again. I'll talk about this more when we get to the actual episode. But I still think that this is an ability that she could use. But I actually have a new kind of half theory about what corruption does for a gem that explains why we never see her use this ability again. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute.
You have Amethyst, who is the most reliant on her own physical abilities and less reliant on skill, and she is soundly defeated by her duplicate. And then you have Pearl, who has very few combat-specific abilities as a gem, and has taught herself how to fight, and has taught herself all of these incredible fighting skills, and by the time the duplicates are finally defeated, you can see she's standing over 2 puddles. She's already defeated her duplicates.
And some people disagree with that. Some people think that we just didn't see her duplicates melt after having we already saw 2 of them melt. We didn't need to see hers, but why? It could have happened in the background as she was turning towards the camera. What would the harm have been? I still think she beat him. I still think she beat him herself. I don't know how she would have, but I still think she did. I think that was like they were specifically calling out the fact that she's that much more skilled than the others. Not more powerful overall, maybe, but more skilled.
He manages to summon Rose's shield for the second time, I believe, at this point. He's very empathetic. He's very sympathetic. He's a very good leader. He's a very good person here.
He's really
I'm so
excellent.
proud of Steven in this moment. And then it clicks. Hey, I just learned I have healing powers like yesterday. Well done. So he does. Her demeanor picks up. She seems like a different person. She summons her water.
Well, of course. She doesn't have brain damage anymore.
And the water, everybody's happy. Everybody's celebrating. Except for Garnet and Pearl, who know what it might mean that Lapis Lazuli managed to make it off work.
Yeah.
And that's the episode. Now, it's up for debate whether or not they actually knew that the gem that was powering the mirror was still conscious. I like to think, though, that they don't. I'm sorry, I just can't see them imprisoning a conscious gem who is still in control of their faculties knowingly, and I especially can't see them knowingly giving it to Steven. Now, I could see them bubbling her if they thought she was still conscious, because it does seem like bubbling a gem puts their consciousness in a kind of stasis, but leaving her conscious inside that mirror for thousands of years, I can't see them being that cruel.
Yeah, exactly.
Really and I don't think this is a secret to anybody. If it is, I apologize. But there was a leaked promo, that was accidentally leaked by the network itself very recently that does show that Lapis is coming back into the show fairly soon.
I remember
we get
this.
to learn more about her character, more about her background, and put some of these lingering
this was such a
questions
long
about her
time
rest
ago.
once and for all. Not only that, but it's at this point in the show that I am entirely willing to call Greg, Lion, and Connie crystal gems.
Yeah. All right, and I already said some of the stuff that I plan to say here in the episode part, but let's get into the episode part. Oh, come on, man. Don't do this to me. My player's not working now. No. No. Stop it. I gotta change the play speed again. God, it's so annoying.
I've never been to this, how do you say, school?
The way he says it is so good. This is a very funny episode, for the most part. I find it very hard to believe that he has never watched a TV show with a school before. That's a little weird. Curious.
I don't know. This is everything Connie told me. Why do I never ask follow-up questions? Who will teach little Stevie now?
Teach you? Steven!
Her eyes.
I know that's what you really wanted.
They're so big, and then that's creepy. Don't do that show. The weird dance is fine, but the close-up super realistic eyes isn't.
I must be incredibly important to gem culture.
It's just you in there. It hasn't even been activated.
I mean, he is, though. Don't be a bitch, Pearl.
Yes, good, Stephen. There are many ways to say the same thing.
School's out!
The asymmetry of
She's
these piles
particularly
is starting to
prickly in
bother
this
me.
episode, isn't she?
Which way you're going, you little... Steven?
Yeah.
Sorry! I'm just so excited for
What were you
summer.
about to call
You
him,
excited for
Lars?
summer?
Next time you see me, I'll be on the arm of a hot woman.
You can stop talking about it now.
Yeah, Sadie will kill him. I have no doubt.
Which way you're going, you little...
Huh?
So let's examine this a little bit, all right? We know Lapis isn't a bad person. She's not like heroic either, for the most part. At least not until towards the end of the show. But Stephen doesn't seem like a bad person, right? She'd be able to see that. And yet, just like with the crystal gems, she didn't say anything to him until he was in danger and she saw the chance to help him. She wasn't able to help herself. But now he knows that she can communicate, so he's going to keep pushing. And God, she's got to be lonely. So of course she's going to communicate back.
I'm the mayor. I'm not going to walk anywhere.
Screw you, Dewey.
Go get run over somewhere else. I'm late for a speech. The time to take that pressure that's built up all year and just let it out.
Wow, you picked that up fast.
Yeah, she really did. She really did. I still think she knows more about humans than she ever let on. Now it's getting a little weird now.
No! Don't be shy. They'll love you. No! Don't worry. They're a good
Love the
audience.
music drop there. The just little bit of creepiness.
Yo, Steve-Man! Hello, Stephen.
Howdy. Bang.
And now we come to this scene, but it's nighttime, and they're in the dark because they're gems, and they don't really need light the way that Stephen does. And so you've got this scene that's just like any other everyday scene, but like it's cast in darkness, and the music's a little creepy, and like even Pearl's being a little creepy in this scene. Like,
Want to see something hilarious? You don't understand. Symmetrical means both sides have
Like,
to be
she's-
the same.
she's acting real unhinged here, and so like the episode's almost like half casting the crystal gems in the role of antagonists for this one. It's really solid. And like going back to examining the development of Lapis and Stephen's relationship in stages, you can kind of understand walking into this situation and then seeing how they're about to react, why he would side with Lapis, at least for now.
You didn't tell me it's like a person.
Wait, what?
Say hey. Little buddy.
And now she's quiet again, because she's scared of them, genuinely.
Excuse us. Come on. You want to come out, don't you? You have so much to say and funny noises to share from
And
across
she
the
already
ages.
trusts Stephen
Only not
enough
beach
that
summer
this
fun
works.
It shouldn't be able to do that. It should only be following orders.
Garnet, do something.
Steven.
No!
Look how, like, the menacing shadow and
We
everything.
can watch it.
Yeah, let's bubble it.
Like, straight up, I never really thought of it this way, but the crystal gems are framed as the antagonists of this episode, aren't they? It's such a bold choice.
No! He wants to be with me.
Oh, Garnet, I'm pretty sure he could take you. You need to be careful.
That little boy is in big trouble.
It got dark real fast. And there she is.
What?
Are you really a crystal gem?
Yeah,
But you set me free.
but... Huh?
So, you have to wonder... Again, I think Lapis is partially to blame for all of this, because she could have tried talking to them before this, but maybe we have to assume at some point that she saw the burning room and all the bubbles there, and just didn't understand corruption, because, like, she wouldn't have seen everything, right? Being in the mirror and then also being inside Pearl's gem. So if we assume she saw the burning room, and she already didn't trust the crystal gems because they were the enemy of Homeworld, and also kind of indirectly is the word I'm looking for, the reason for her being put in the mirror in the first place, that she sees the burning room, all of that, and she assumed that if she had tried to talk to them, that they would have tried to bubble her, which is what they were going to do anyway, right? So obviously she's right. That explains why she wouldn't have ever tried to talk to them. But, you know, maybe if she had taken that chance, things would have worked out for her. So, like, I don't know, she had to encounter somebody she trusted enough to meet them halfway. But, like, there's blame to be had on both sides here. Like, Pearl could have thought, hey, maybe I should, you know, pop this gem out of here, see if it's a person. But also she could have said, hey, Pearl, I'm a person, you know. But it's kind of how Lapis is. She's very avoidant of things at this point in her arc.
Steven!
Oh, you guys don't stand a chance.
You three knew I was in there, and you didn't do
I don't think they
anything.
did, though.
I'm Lapis Lazuli, and you can't keep me trapped here anymore!
Maybe they assumed, or maybe she assumed, that, because again, she thought they were the bad guys, right? She would have thought they were the bad guys. Maybe she assumed, maybe the reason she assumed that they knew she was a person was because she knew that they were capturing other gems. And they just assumed, or she just assumed that they left her in the mirror to keep her captive, you know? I don't know. There's a lot of misunderstandings going on here, is my point. It's a really unfortunate situation.
Don't trust them, Steven. Goodbye.
Yeah. And it's telling that they are good enough people. They do recognize well enough how dire the situation is that as soon as the next episode they start to tell him more of the truth of the situation, you know? Don't trust them. Well, he might take that to heart. We should probably let him in on more of this. And this is all the build up to the reveal that the corrupted gems are gems, obviously, right? Go ahead and bring up the other one now. And then deal with my computer acting stupid, probably. Yep, it's acting stupid. Of course it is. I use the legacy player because it lets me control playback speed more accurately than the newer one. My computer does not like to run it at all. But it can suck it.
Now we're gonna bury you till you've learned your lesson.
Ah, that's not how grounding
Now what that? Yeah, that's not what that means.
Dad?
Amy.
You guys better come check this out.
Wait.
Whoa!
Love seeing Dewey panic that much. Just screw that guy.
Magical ladies! As mayor, I demand you explain this immediately!
It was Lapis Lazuli.
I was the one who set Lapis free from the mirror. Now it's my fault the ocean's gone. I'm gonna bring the ocean back, or get really thirsty trying.
Wait up, kiddo. I'm coming with you.
I want to help too. Also, I feel weird being in your house if you're not here.
And that's the moment they become crystal gems,
Clearly, we're coming too.
in my
You're ungrounded,
opinion.
by the way.
Oh god, you love to see it, man. Because screw that guy.
How about some tunes? This was one of Rose's favorites.
Oh, this is a great scene. I love it. Such a chill little sequence. I love it. Very pretty too. Good music,
I
good
can't
scenery.
believe Lapis would do this.
We're always fighting gems, actually.
Yeah.
What?
There it is.
Oh, how do I put this?
All those monsters we fight used to be just like us, right, Pearl?
Yes.
And like the fandom knew this already. It was pretty obvious. But there it is. There's the drop. Very, very, very cool lore drop. It's like, I understand there was a point where we got all the lore that they had ever planned on giving us. But we stopped getting lore drops like this as the show goes on, especially once Future rolls around. And like, man, it's your universe. Create more lore and then drop it into the episodes. And when you're having the characters learn stuff, have them learn stuff as they're uncovering lore about the universe. Like in these older episodes, it would have been so much better.
But they've become corrupted and broken. We have to take care of them, subdue them, contain them. It's the best we can do for them for now.
Which is already setting up the fact that they are still looking for a cure. But she specifically calls out being broken, which I think lends credence to that theory that a gem being broken can also lead to corruption. That the corruption wave was just a way to trigger that en masse. It's so cool.
That's some magical destiny stuff right there.
Yeah.
I just had the best idea for an album.
You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, those waters shouldn't be mixing either, probably.
Leslie, but we're Beat Summer Fun Buddies. No!
She's still using reflections, but like they're not like mirror reflections anymore. They're not reflections on the surface. They're watery reflections, which is why I do think that she has some version of this ability naturally. Like, let's let it play for a second.
I said, leave me alone.
Like there, we saw the other Steven came out of a reflection in the water, but like the other crystal gems aren't being reflected in the water, right? And these aren't like reflected light images. They're not like hollow pearls, for example. Like this is a similar power, but they're not like solid light like the gems are. They're made of water. They're like the reflections in the water, like in the rippling surface of the water. So I don't think this is a mirror power. I think this is a lapis power.
Don't let them separate them.
And they did already, of course. This is actually a pretty good fight scene. Equally matched. One of the more anime fight scenes we see too, because they're like compressing the earth and stuff. And here, Amethyst is just completely outclassed because she's the weakest fighter of the bunch. Whereas Pearl just immediately outmaneuvers hers. And here's where Lapis almost drowns two children. Though she might not know that this will kill them. She might just think that she's subduing them. But also I theorize that she knows more about humans than she lets on, so maybe she does. But also she's not in her right mind. Whatever. The characters forgive her, so it's fine. Gives Greg his big damn hero moment too.
This is why we wear seatbelts, kids.
No, it's not. But, you know.
Lapis, I don't want to fight!
Protecting his family, so he's able to call on his powers. Yeah, see what I mean? Pearl definitely beat him. Love that Starscape, too. I use that all the time and stuff.
Lapis!
What are you doing here, Steve?
Animation on her is so good in this episode, too.
This is crazy!
It is.
They don't really care about other gems. All they care about is the Earth. But I never believed in this place.
Which is, I think, definitely supposed to be like homeworld propaganda. Oh, they're just like Earth supremacists. They don't care about the rest of us, which, I mean, to a point might be true, because, like, if homeworld gems give them too much trouble, they're going to be like, screw you, but, like, they did, though. They did care about other gems, just not in the way that the homeworld gems wanted them to. I love that. I love that.
I know how important home can be, but
Just so
that's
pretty.
why I'm here. You took the ocean away. and the ocean is an important part of my home.
And such a good
I'm only using
conversation.
the ocean because my gem is cracked.
Oh, I can fix your gem. I have healing powers.
Yeah, just let me lick your back real quick. It's not creepy at all.
Oh, sorry. This might be a little weird.
What?
Pretty sure that's like sexual harassment, but or assault. Like, isn't spitting on people assault?
Thank you, Steven.
No prob, Bob.
It's lapis.
Lapis.
So, and then and I love that they bring that back later too. It's so good.
Bye.
And she flies off at like faster than light speeds. And then like, I used to wonder how the different waters that she stole get back to where they're supposed to be. But I think that's why it breaks up into little cubes. I think that's supposed to be like, oh, the cubes are gonna like scatter back to where the water originally came from. Good thing Connie's smart. And good thing Lynes just intuitively does what she says. Already this early on, that was really Connie's line, you know? Now Dewey's gonna be happy again.
Yes! Babe City, here we come. What?
Yeah, good on you, Sadie.
Well, what's that thing you always say about the pork chops and the hot dogs?
So, Lapis made it off planet.
What does this mean for us?
We wait and see.
Garnet, you have the ability to see the future. You should never have to wait and see. Good ending, though, because, like, they scored a victory. And it's the same kind of victory. Maybe the degree is greater, but it's the same kind of victory that these characters score all the time. And you see Steven celebrating like he always would in a situation like this. But we actually, for a second there, cut away from his perspective. Like, because Steven did not hear that conversation just there. So we actually cut away from Steven's perspective for just a second there and get the perspective of Garnet and Pearl. And so we get to see that extra layer that's always happening in the background as Steven is having these superhero victories. We get a taste of the kind of things that they worry about in the background. It's very cool. It adds such a neat extra layer to the show. That's it. That's Beer Gem and Ocean Gem. Two of the absolute best episodes of this show. Like, straight up, just excellent episodes. They hold up super well, even after all this time. And I still am pretty goddamn sure that these episodes were intended to be the finale to the first season. For whatever reason, they rolled the first two seasons of the show into one. And that's why you have the super long season one, and then the following seasons are half the length, you know? So looking at this as a season finale, this is an excellent finale, too. It's so effectively, it closes out a bunch of the mysteries in this first season while setting the stage for stuff to come. It's very good. Just excellent episodes. I don't really have anything else to say about them. But they're just spectacular. I love them a lot. Obviously. Yeah. Revisiting these episodes, assuming you guys did a rewatch of them along with me. Did anything catch your eye that I didn't talk about? Absolutely let me know in the comment section down below. Any theories that you'd like me to talk about? Do you want me to elaborate more on the Lapis's reflection power theory? I do want to go over a mini theory really quick too that I think, and we're assuming that damage to the gemstone starts the process of corruption here. We see corrupted gems, even Steven, when he corrupted and turned into Giga Steven. We see corrupted gems effectively channeling like the maximum output of the gem. And that gives them abilities that they don't usually display when they're not corrupted. And like maybe they won't be as in control of their abilities, or maybe their abilities won't be as focused as they would be if they weren't corrupted, if their minds weren't all warped. but like their physical strength and like their energy output seems to go up, kind of get pushed to the maximum, almost like some limiter has broken. And you have to wonder if that limiter is literally just their sapient mind, that they kind of logic limits to themselves into place by being a thinking being. And so Lapis not having access to that reflection power anymore might simply be because her limiters are fully back into place, and so she just doesn't really consider that she would have that ability, that she was kind of using it on instinct when her gem was still damaged because she was partially corrupted. It makes you wonder. Also, I think Steven, through his training with Jasper in future, was kind of undoing those limiters. It kind of makes you wonder what would have happened if Lapis hadn't had that limiter in place, assuming that it's a thing, when Yellow and Blue had shown up. Like, could you imagine? Like, we saw a Diamond's power disrupt those reflections here when Steven used his shield. But let's assume for a second that that's an ability unique to the shield. Could you imagine Lapis creating water reflections of Yellow and Blue to fight them? If I'm right that if she's fighting against a gem who uses just their raw physical abilities, that she has the advantage, that her reflections have the advantage, she would have stomped the Diamonds because they rely only on their abilities. They have no actual combat skill above and beyond what their abilities give them. It would have been a very interesting fight, and I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see it. But yeah, if you want anything I talked about in this video elaborated on, let me know. In the meantime, what do we have next? Yeah, House Guest. It's not a bad episode, it's just an I don't like Greg in it episode. And then Space Race, which is a pretty fun one. Already getting into deeper lore stuff. Then the next one after that, we're gonna have to talk about Island Adventure, which I really don't want to talk about. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Yeah, this was fun though, and I've been rambling for way too long, so I'm gonna sign off. But yeah, like the video, share it with anyone else who you think would enjoy my content. Subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out links to my various social media, as well as many ways you can help out the channel. Those will be in the video description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.